that really all you've got for the first day of Comic-Con 50? Let's let them know we got some people in the audience today. How are you guys doing tonight? Or today, sorry. It's been a long week for me already. I wanted to say welcome to the 50th Comic-Con. We are so excited to have you guys here. I know it's probably hard to imagine at this point that the first one had 300 people. And this room alone way outdoes 300 people. So it's really exciting to see how it's grown. But I think more so what's exciting is the fact that we have always been fans of these things. We've been fans of comics, movies, television, games, and now it's cool to be a fan of that. And a lot of you out there are a lot of the shepherds that let that happen. A lot of you were fans before it was cool to be fans. So you should all give yourselves a round of applause, because that's awesome that we are now the shepherds of stuff that is cool. And we hope that Comic-Con will continue to help spearhead that, and it'll be a place for you to come, see your friends, find your tribe, and find your home. This is home for a lot of us, and we're really, really proud of that, and we really, really appreciate all of you for coming. So, now that that's out of the way, let's get into the meat and what you guys are actually here for. So I am very excited for this first panel in Hall H this year. And let's hear how excited some of you people are about this as well. So as you know, if you guys are regulars in this room, I do have a few things to say. One, obviously if you're hungry, there's food out in the lobby area. I'm gonna go through this quick. Bathrooms are over there. And the big one, the studios are awesome about bringing us great footage and some really surprise things, sneak stuff. It's always exciting in all of our panel rooms. So we want to make sure that they continue to feel okay doing that. So please do us a favor. You can tweet, talk all about it, that you were the first to see it, but do not record any of the footage. Again, we want to just make sure that they are all excited about continuing to bring this stuff. You guys are the ones, some of you I'm sure spent the night waiting in line. So let's get you guys rewarded, and you can just brag about the fact that you saw it first, okay? And with that, it is my pleasure to get the Terminator Dark Fate panel started.
Just want to talk to you a little bit about me, my role as the producer on this. I was asked to join the production by David Ellison at Skydance and Tim Miller, who was already aboard. And I came into it with no particular expectation other than wanting to make the best possible Terminator movie for 2019. I only had one caveat, which is that I wanted, if I was going to do it, I wanted Arnold in. So the first panel discussion was, you know, what do we do with the T-800? How do we create a brand new character for him for a new Terminator film, something nobody's ever seen before? And I think we've come up with something pretty good. You'll judge for yourselves. Other than that, it was kind of a blank slate creatively. So you got Tim Miller, fresh off Deadpool, it's like a crazy fanboy for the first movies. Me, you know, kind of coming back to the franchise from, you know, almost 3 decades later, putting our ideas together and with the screenwriters and coming up with all sorts of crazy new stuff that you've never seen before. But the one thing we kept circling around was, do we want to bring Sarah back? And the consensus was, there is no Sarah but Linda.
Herself, Ray Drake.
Comic-Con! 50th anniversary. You made it in here. Your temperature is regulating. We all smell amazing. San Diego Comic-Con at 50 years old, at half a century, looks so good. It's like if Paul Rudd was a Comic-Con.
Oh my God.
Amazing. So let's just recap what you guys have already seen. You made it in. You have already seen James Cameron live. Okay, yeah. And you have this unbelievable poster from artist Nivan Chithara. We have so much more good stuff that's on its way, all right? I have to do my power pose because I'm convinced that I have learned this from the films that you are about to hear us talk about. For those of you, I'm so excited to be here as Ms. Movie Phone, I have to tell you. Because for those of you who are familiar with my namesake, I'm just gonna kick this panel off with this. Hello, and welcome to Comic-Con. You have selected Terminator Dark Fate. Okay, so as you can tell from that behind the scenes, there's gonna be like a little bit of language during this panel, and if there's anyone who's a little sensitive in the audience, prepare for some earmuffs, because if you recall from some of these films, there are lines, such as, like, chill out, dickwad, and you're terminated, fucker, and that's what it's gonna be. So everybody settle down, and let me instead remind you of like some of the reasons that we love this series, right? Like this is the series that when I first saw it, made me want to learn how to do pull-ups. And I tried and I can't do them, but I wanted to learn how to do pull-ups. It made me think that really intensely chasing after cars was a good idea. And it also, like when I saw one of the characters in this movie just spin a shotgun around and while he's riding a motorcycle, I was like, I am going to vote for that man for governor. And so, with that, I am so excited to talk about these Terminator movies, Terminator Dark Fate. You guys already have the hashtags, light up social media, and right now put your hands together for the director, Tim Miller. From people in the front, you guys are the best. We also love you in the back. We're leaving things out.
You know how they bring the bad comedian out before they bring the good one out to like warm up the audience?
Yes, that's me, Tim. Thank you so much.
That's me.
So first and most important question, when you're working with someone like James Cameron, are you allowed to nicknameify him as like Jimbo, Jim Time, Jim Visit? No? Nothing?
Not if there are any sharp objects within reach,
Okay.
Cameron, which there usually are, if not firearms.
Make a note of it. Everybody out there, never call him Jimbo. That's useful.
I have a secret name for him, but it's only for him and I.
Are you sure that you wouldn't like to tell this very intimate audience?
No, I think it would make him uncomfortable if everyone knew, so.
Can I just pretend that you said it was Pookie Pie and we move on?
Yes.
You're in Hall H for the second time.
He's going to do the Pokemon sequel, you didn't know that. That's his next move.
People are going to report on that now and it'll officially be our fault, so great. This is your second time in Hall H as director.
Yes.
Because you guys remember when Tim was here for a little film you might remember called Deadpool.
Can I just say it's also my 25th Comic-Con.
Yeah, he is a huge fan.
And it's the 50th anniversary. You've been here half.
I've never gotten into Hall H except when I directed Deadpool. You people have more dedication. I was never willing to sleep outside overnight to get in here. So I applaud you.
Yeah,
Well done.
you guys are amazing. And so basically, let's start at the beginning of this. And let's talk about how you got involved with this franchise that is so meaningful to so many people.
While Deadpool was in post, David Ellison came to talk to me about something else. I was going to help another director with a project. And I showed him an early cut of Deadpool, and he really liked it. It was far from finished at the time. And then he started talking about Terminator, and it's David's favorite film. Like many of us, it's what got him into the movie business. And he said, you know, I didn't do it as well as I wished the first time around. But I'm not giving up. I want to try again. And would you be interested in helping with that? And I'm like, fuck yeah. Oh, by the way, if I say fuck more than 5 times, Arnold wins $20. So that's 2. So David asked me, and I said, of course I would. You know, I've said it in interviews before. If I try and put myself in the fan state of mind when I read anything in the internet. Like, how would I feel if they announced a 6th Terminator film, and I would feel like, fuck me. It's like, I've seen enough of these movies, I'm tired of this story, unless there was something new, unless a part of the story that hadn't been told got to be finished, and that story is Linda's story, so.
Yes. And so
that was it, really.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And so connect the dots for us, now that you're focusing on this story that you wanted to tell kind of as a fan. Where are we going to pick up? What can you tell us? So there's so many spoilers, like we're going to have to walk through this carefully.
It's a minefield.
Yeah, right? But connect the dots as much as you can for where this movie picks up.
Well, well, you know what? This is like the only audience that I can get like way inside baseball with.
Cool.
But the time travel, for me, I loved Endgame. I think it's fantastic. I'm a huge Marvel nerd. Yeah. However, I feel like time travel with multiple realities loses some stakes. If you could change time and it could be anything, but it could be multiple or alternate timelines. I feel like you lose a little bit of the dramatic stakes. And so in the Terminator universe, there is only one timeline. If you change something in the past, the time wave rolls forward and it changes the future. So Jim, in his 2 movies, really didn't have to deal with that, the consequences of that, because they're trying to make sure that what happened happens again, all the way up until the end of Terminator 2, when Sarah says, fuck it. Thank you.
Four.
Looks like Arnold's gonna win $20.
I think he's earned $20.
So what happens before it has happened? But at the end of Terminator 2, she casts all the dice on the table and destroys Cyberdyne. So you don't know what the consequences of that decision was. She hopes it's good. We wouldn't have a movie if it was. And so that's the most interesting story. It's the consequences of Sarah's decision at the end of Cyberdyne. And I think all of us, it's a very relatable thing because everybody makes these choices every day. At my advanced age, you look back on life and you go, man, that one little stupid thing I did led to this or that. For me, it's mostly been, I've been so lucky. I'm the luckiest nerd on planet Earth. But sometimes it's not so lucky. And that's what we explore. So Sarah's been, she's living with the consequences of that decision, and we see how it rolls out 20-some years later.
And specifically, the level of what I'm going to call kick-assery in this is going to like make the movie rated, please say R.
Am I supposed to? Yes, it's officially an R-rated.
Yeah!
You know why? It's because it wasn't always that way. I'll tell you that. And it's because the fans kind of demanded it in a way. They felt,
Yeah.
it's true. I had a whole other plan in case it didn't go, or I had a backup plan. But the thing is that the DNA of Terminator is an R-rated fucking movie. So you got
Get your wallet open, Arnold!
So to not do it R feels disingenuous to the source material. So we knew that's what the fans wanted. We knew that's what we wanted to do. And even though it was up in the air, that was always my plan. And so I got so many takes of Linda saying "fuck." It's amazing.
Yes! Okay, now let's just take a complete segment of the panel to talk about Linda saying fuck.
I have so many takes of Linda saying "fuck." It's amazing. But none of Arnold. He wouldn't say.
What?
Yeah, robots don't curse.
Once again, robots prove to be far better than you or I.
That's right.
But working with Linda Hamilton on this movie, let's actually dedicate time to getting
Let's
her
do
back.
that.
How did you
love
do
Linda.
it? Right?
Jim called Linda, and like we said at the beginning, we didn't know if she would do it because there's a lot of reasons not to take that risk. For her, why do it? Because you've had these 2 knock it out of the park successes. Why come back and take the risk? Especially, I mean, let's be honest. I made 1 film. I could have gotten super lucky, and maybe you guys will see this and say, yeah, you got fucking lucky. But I don't. I tried very, very hard not to. Mostly because I didn't want to let down Linda because she's pretty scary. But the chance to tell her story again was the draw for me. We just didn't know if she would, and then Jim called her, and eventually she called him back and said she'd do it. She can tell you why. She's got a lot of good reasons for why she does it, but I think it's the perfect time for her to come back, and I think the way she came back, she was so dedicated to doing it, it was incredible.
I think it's time that we ask
Let's
her
do it.
ourselves. Everybody welcome, I'm Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton. Linda, you can stand wherever you want, honestly. Like, do your thing, girl. It's so scary. Why don't you just show Linda Hamilton some more love? I don't know if that succeeded in making it scarier or more loving, but we're excited that you're here. So go ahead and take a seat because I have many, many questions for you. All right, here we go. Now, in my considerable cyber stalking of you, I have heard you say that it really took you a long time to make the decision to participate, regardless of the call from James Cameron, aka Pookie Pie.
I call him Jimbo.
Oh, thank you. Linda Hamilton ain't scared. She's telling us his nickname. Tim. So
She's slept with him, I have.
only once.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
This is a fucking dream come true. So let's talk about was there a pivotal moment for you in that long decision-making process? What made you decide? Was there one thing or was there one hope that you had? What was it that made you come back? Because you did not have to.
No, I didn't, and I really gave it careful consideration because I felt that the first two were very intact, and you kind of want to retire a champion.
Yep.
Or rest on your laurels, as he said, but it was the passage of time, and I was very intrigued by, the character is the same, but time changes everything, and what has happened, who is she now, what has happened to make her who she is now, and there were so many more possibilities 27 years later that I felt that there was just a world of richness that I could explore, and then rock it as a woman of a certain age.
Seeing you as this character in these movies has made such a deep impression on people that I want to talk about what it's like for you with life experience, coming back into the role and also training for that role, because I've seen the stuff, Linda, you're not messing around in this movie. You could easily kill me with your bare hands right now, and might. I mean,
If it doesn't go well.
So talk about that, coming back into it with all this life experience in between and what's going on with the character for you.
Well, that was what appealed to me, was that it wasn't just going to be cookie cutter, same, it can't possibly be the same because 27 years have gone by.
Yeah.
I originally thought I'll just put in the same kind of work and get the same results. That doesn't happen. Training-wise, worked really hard for a good year, diet and all of that to sort of, get trim and get as far into the character as I could physically, but one day I woke up and I was like, you know what, I can no longer worry about trying to be what I was, because I am so much more than I was. And that was the moment that I realized I really wanted to really be on board with this, that the richness of my life experience is only going to enrich the character that I play. And that just gave me so much to work on, the backstory stuff that you won't see, but you will see in my performance.
Right.
You know, and going to just the, you know, people will always talk about the training in the body, but really the work of an actor, I mean, the hard work that I did was the deep exploration of a woman whose pretty much an outsider, whose life hasn't worked out well, and who's lost so much. And that's the true work, is to explore the interior landscape of a character who I just had to go to my deepest sorrows and my places of deepest loss. And that's what makes Sarah Connor Sarah Connor.
Yeah. And it's also what makes us you feel good. Because you want to see the characters that you know in a new situation where they're proving themselves in a different way.
I agree.
When you're not pumping things out so fast, you actually have somewhere to go.
Yes.
Now, why don't...
Linda's also got a lot of inner rage that comes out.
Only towards Tim.
It comes
Only
out.
towards Tim.
Whenever she would get a gun in her hands and do a take, she'd fire the gun, she'd have this little smile on her face. And we'd have to do multiple takes because I'd say, Linda, I need you to stop smiling while you fire the gun. And she's like, I'm not smiling. Totally you're fucking smiling. Every time.
It sounds like you guys had a terrible time working together.
We hate each other.
When you go back to this movie with a new director, like what is it that Tim is going to bring to the table that makes him actually a good choice for this movie and not just super fucking lucky? We know it's more than that.
Yeah, it is more than that. He is the most honest and true director I've ever worked with. He's just so himself, so steady, a great leader with great vision. And he brought, it sounds alarming, but he brought so much, I mean, to me, as an actor, teaching me that that you don't have to always be strong and heavy, that occasionally you can be strong and light. And that's what he's really good at, is the comedy, the action, and he just has a way of bringing us all with him because he is dearly beloved by his cast and crew. Dearly beloved.
Why don't we see if that's true? Let's bring out some more cast, shall we? Natalia, Reyes, Diego Boneta, Mackenzie Davis, and Gaberiel Luna. All the hugging and swearing.
Fucking right.
We're not just hugging for you guys, we hug a lot. On the set, it's very hugging.
Yeah, that's like what everybody wants to know, is that these movies are so intense that you guys are coming in as new cast members, right? But it seems like you know, behind the scenes, it seems like you are sort of this weird, sometimes augmented human robot family, and it's wild to see. Natalia, can you talk about like your character kind of coming into this franchise and walking in to this new movie without giving anything away?
I'll try. Hi everyone. Hi, thanks for being here. I am terrified. I'm telling you, this is really scary. You are too many and you know so much. Excuse me, I wasn't even born when the first Terminator came out, so I've done my best. So Dani Ramos, I'm Daniela Ramos. I'm a girl from Mexico City. I'm a stubborn. Yeah. Viva Mexico, guys! And I'm a girl from Mexico City. I am a hard worker. I have my family, my brother Diego, my father, my taco dog. Is that a spoiler? I have a dog, that's it. And I work hard, I want the best for my family, and one day I go to work, and suddenly there's this new Terminator trying to kill me. So I don't understand why, and then we get this amazing two women, Mackenzie, Grace, and Sarah Connor, and they are trying to help me, so we'll see why.
We'll see what happens. Diego, can you talk about let's really talk about the action in this movie, okay? Everybody wants, Terminator is about action, right? We've got substance, we've got nuance, but we've also got lots of explosions.
Well, here's a picture I'll paint really quick. About a year ago, we were shooting a scene in the south of Spain, Murcia. It was 45 degrees Celsius, so that's
Hot.
over 100 degrees.
That's just a nice fall day in Texas.
By the way, that's true. And we were shooting this car chase scene in a pickup truck with no AC in the middle of the highway for 10 days. And it was amazing because Tim would come up and we'd shoot, little fragments of this little piece, just part of this 2-minute car chase scene. And he'd show us the previs and he'd go, okay, that thing that we're gonna shoot right now, just worth a second in the whole movie, it's this, right? And it was really cool to be a part of a movie that was this effects heavy with someone who knows so much, but also cares a lot about the emotion of the movie. I'm gonna steal this line from you, Tim, because it's so good. He says, it's if you don't care about the characters in the explosions, there's no movie. You've seen explosions many times, and technology will only get better and better. But it's the characters and the emotion that pulls us through, and Tim was able to really do both.
That's great.
I just said that to Diego because he didn't get to be in any of the big explosions. I wanted him to feel good about his role in the movie.
Thank you.
Mackenzie, let's talk about the size of this movie. I'm also obsessed with movies that you've done that are complete on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like Izzy Gets the Fuck Across Town. I'm like, yes, girl. And then you show up in Terminator Dark Fate. Can you talk about sort of the difference in your experience on this movie versus like so many of the other things you've done, even TV?
Yeah. I was pretty trepidatious going into it because I just had this kind of like old Hollywood idea that there'd be a director and a megaphone like across the lot being like, more tears! and that you wouldn't have any sort of nice experience shooting it. But then it's pretty evident as soon as you start talking to Tim that that's not his style. And so it was this enormous thing that's like, feels like an opera versus like black box theater or something. But Tim managed to make the acting side of it, the storytelling side of it, really intimate, and I think without this sort of very intense reliance on each other and this emotional core of the movie, it would have been bad to make and then see.
Sure.
But I think the movie we made was wonderful to make and really fucking good.
I actually thought when Mackenzie, I'd seen her previous work and she'd already auditioned, and then she came down to Blur. And I genuinely thought that at some point when I started showing her what she had have to do, she'd go, fuck this. I'm not. I was just joking before. I'm not interested. But she really, really worked harder than anybody, I think. Maybe except for Linda. Maybe, I don't know. She was up so early every day. She worked harder than everybody to become this person that is fantastic.
Linda, do you want to weigh in on that? Like, if you and Mackenzie got in a movie fist fight, who would win? I'm just gonna...
Linda would win. I assure you Linda would win. Linda has an inner strength.
She's definitely stronger and younger, but I'm meaner. I don't know.
You can't beat the Canadian out of a girl. I just have nothing to do with it.
Gaberiel, when the cameras are not rolling, What's one of your kind of fave moments or memories?
Yeah, no. I have a guitar that I bring with me to work all the time.
Really?
And I was so afraid that he was going to go John Belushi on me and smash my guitar everywhere into splinters.
Is there a reason you were afraid of that?
Well, you know, I just started playing.
He's not very good.
Okay. What I did was able to pick out the Brad Fiedel, you know, Terminator theme, and I'd play it just to kind of remind us all where we were. And Tim would like it sometimes, and sometimes like, if you don't get that fucking guitar out. I think I just added to the fuck quotient. I'm the guy who made the bet with Arnold, and I put the over-under at 4 fucks. And dude, I was way off.
Yeah.
No. But I would, of course, like to pluck around. We also had a game that we played that our stunt team kind of started, and the next slice game. So someone came up and
Nicely done.
now she gets to take a photograph of me, which ended up in the rap party video of everybody who died. And but if you block it, which I didn't, she has to do 20 push-ups, which she doesn't. But yeah, that's what we did. But yeah, it was a fun set. You know.
Speaking, I mean, does anybody ever neck slash Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
I don't remember him being a partner.
Yeah. And you were the one that worked with him the most, right? You guys trained together, didn't you?
Yes. You know, when we you know, it's funny because I had breakfast with Linda a bunch in Madrid. Then we moved to Budapest, and we didn't see each other as much. She's like, man, it's happening again. This is just like the first Terminator. I never saw Arnold. It's like we were making 2 different movies. And so once we got to Budapest, I was like, oh man, who's my friend now? And then the best one that could show up was, I guess, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He shows up sometime mid-June, and we become buddies, and we spend a lot of time in the gym. Yeah, and we just, he taught me a lot.
Okay, cool.
Great time to spend with him.
Just to clarify, you're saying that Arnold Schwarzenegger was your sloppy seconds friend.
Whoa.
That's cool.
How did you get
Arnold,
there?
don't listen to Grace. She's joking.
Could you, I mean, respectfully, could you keep up with him? That kind of blows my mind that that's just a thing that you can do is train with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, no, you know, I had to eventually over time learn to try to keep up with him. And because he's up very early, and you know, rule number 5 in his 6 rules of success, of course, is, you know, they say most people need 8 hours of sleep. To that I say, sleep faster. So I had to learn to do my 12 to 6 schedule and be up there with him in the morning, and then we go eat breakfast afterwards, and you know, I could talk about everything.
I don't know if he got them, but I would get these texts from Arnold on the weekends when he wasn't shooting. That was like, he's in Vienna and he's leading an orchestra in the street, and then he's in South Africa at a bodybuilding tournament, and then he did more in a fucking weekend than I did, I think, in the entire last 6 years of my life.
Incredible energy.
He's like, he's like that little gnome in Amelie where, you know, she takes the pictures all over the place. It's crazy. Wearing my Blur shirt. He was wearing our Blur shirt everywhere. Free advertising for my company. I love it.
I feel like now is the perfect time for us to welcome him out, shall we?
Just come out here and I get $20. 20, yes, 20.
I should have put it over under at least 9.
Yeah.
I won the bet because he said that I bet any money that Tim is going to say fuck at least 4 times. And I said, no, he's going to say minimum 5 times. When I counted it all together, it was 10 times. So that's why he gave me now $20, because that's what we bet. Tim just loves talking about it. I like doing it.
I think we should have a little contest to keep score on that motherfucker.
That's the Terminator panel. Thank you so much for coming out.
Imagine how set was like.
Yeah. I just want to know what you're going to spend $20 on, Arnold.
Well, there's a lot of options available, especially since the economy is going so well under Donald Trump. But maybe I'm getting a protein shake for both of us.
All right.
I think we need it, yeah.
All right, I like that. It's always about trading. Well, let's talk about the same thing that we talked about with Linda, first of all. You don't have to come back, right? I know the line is, I'll be back. But what is the reason that you decided to join this movie?
Well, first of all, I want to correct you right off the top, even though you've done a great job until now. Because it's absolutely incorrect to say that I don't need to come back. Of course I need to come back. I mean, it's like, I'm addicted to Terminator. I mean, it's like Terminator was the movie that really launched my action movie career. I did Conan the Barbarian before then, and Conan the Destroyer. And then after that, Jim Cameron came to me and says, I want you to be in Terminator, and I want you to play the Terminator. From that moment on, everything has changed in my life, and I've done then after that Commander and Predator and Red Heat and all the True Lies and all those movies, and we really created the 80s and the 90s kind of an action genre. So I think that Terminator was really a very, very important movie for me in 1984. It was a very important movie for me in 1991. It became the highest grossing movie of that year. And it was one of those really unique characters where you were amongst the top 10 villains and scariest kind of characters, but at the same time you were also amongst the top 10 heroic characters. So that's unheard of. And only someone like Jim Cameron can create something like that. So I feel very indebted to Jim Cameron for having created this character and these movies. And I'm so happy that he's part of this one again, and that he brought everyone together again, and that he and Linda came back, and that they were smart enough to get Tim Miller to direct it, because he was the perfect guy to direct it. So I think that you all will be really surprised at this movie, because it has come out really unbelievable, and I was blown away when I just saw it 3 weeks ago for the first time.
Arnold gets $100 every time he mentions Jim Cameron this year.
I think Jim's got it.
But isn't it cute? I love when directors can also be funny. It's wonderful.
I just want to be clear that from where I'm standing, I've got a perfect view of Arnold giving mad snake eyes to Tim Miller, and it is literally one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen.
He loves me. I'm not afraid of him.
I just also want to say, before you go to the next question, this is unbelievable, Comic-Con. I mean, when you think about it, where it began, and like with a few hundred people, I think it was like 50 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And now look at this. This has like 150, 200,000 people coming together here. And in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, they have a Comic-Con event. They had last year 287,000 people coming together there. So this is how huge those are. they're now all over the world, and this is not the only place I've gone to. Texas to one, and I'm going next month to Silicon Valley to a Comic-Con event, and there will be one in Germany, and I will be also part of the one in Sao Paulo next year, because we're going to combine the Arnold Classic Sports and Fitness Festival with Comic-Con, where we're going to have muscles and the display competition, and everyone will brought together. I'm a big fan of what Comic-Con is doing and this interactive action that's going on. Very entertaining. They really give you your money's worth. So it's really fantastic. So I'm very proud of them because I know for sure the amount of people that say to them, this will never happen, it's impossible, it can't be done. And they didn't listen to the naysayers. They went ahead and did it anyway. And here's the huge success. So big hand to Comic-Con.
Terminator, the entire franchise is like one of the most quotable group of movies that I've seen, right? So I just wondered, like, Linda, do you have kind of a favorite line that really sticks with you?
You're terminated, fucker.
I just got goosebumps.
It's what I do.
Arnold, do people quote you to you all the time?
Well, not only quote me, but I mean, they also try to imitate my accent.
Yeah. I specifically decided not to go that direction.
No. Beautifully, he quotes himself sometimes. We'd be on set, and you know, sometimes he'd be dragging a little bit. He's like, "Do it now."
Did it change?
Oh, then
That's the way I talk.
well, yeah, then we're at breakfast.
Actually, get to the helicopter. I had to put it ready. I said, "Get to the chopper."
We were at breakfast one time, my wife was talking to a friend of his. It was like, what does your father do? And literally mid-bite, he's like, who is your daddy?
Actually, Natalia does the best Arnold imitation. What does he say after a good take?
Very nice.
Oh, you gotta let him do it.
Very nice.
Yep, that was pretty good. I'm into it. I mean, we've done an awful lot of talking here. I kind of want to turn this over to you, and that guy down there, because it's time for something very special.
Arnold's going to talk about politics for about 20 and then maybe we'll show you some footage. No, he's not going to talk about politics. 20 minutes.
I just want you to just keep sitting here and quoting yourself. That's kind of, I'm into that.
Arnold's supposed to announce it, right?
Yep.
Arnold.
It's all you.
What do you got to say about some fucking footage we're going to show these fucking people?
So let's not talk about it. Show the footage. Come on.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Here we go. You know, at the Deadpool panel, they chanted, play it again, at the end of the panel. Wait, you don't have to do it now, but at the end of the panel. And then fuck all the schedules up for the rest of the day. I expect.
Linda, girl, your guns are huge! That was unbelievable stuff. Is that the first time that you've seen it? Uh-huh.
Fuck, I'm old. But that's amazing. I truly, I have not glimpsed it because I don't want to see it till it's ready. And maybe not even then.
She promised she'd go to the premiere with me. She doesn't want to see it until then, but she promised. You did
It's gonna
promise.
be like this. That's amazing, Jim.
Yes.
And everybody at this table rocks. Every single person at this table rocks.
So true. There's so much energy in what we just saw. Like, Mackenzie, you're getting stared down. You like the leg break. There's so many things where I'm like, oh, I'm having a nerdgasm. This is like, wow. What's your response to seeing that? And I mean, in a form you've never seen it before.
I'm surprised how many times I've teared up at the Terminator Dark Fate panel backstage in here. But I love Linda so much, and she's such a wonderful person, and it's just so, it's just really moving to get to see her in all of her glory and to see the excitement about her coming back. And Tim, I love everybody. I'm so proud of what you did. I think you said it best, that like, Terminator 6 doesn't sell itself, but this is such an amazing thing that you made, so I'm so excited.
We made.
Yeah.
We made it together.
And that's the thing, that's what translates into that final product. And like Natalia, I'm getting serious, intense, kind of Sarah Connor-esque vibes from your character. Like, did you kind of have some inspiration from the previous movies?
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I'm too excited. It's, you know, this woman, since the first day I met you and he was there, she was so generous, so loving. She touched me, she hugged me, and I'm sure she's a big part of the reason why I'm here. I know Tim and everyone else.
No, Linda.
But
Linda chose her.
well,
It's true.
She helped. And, you know, first time I saw Sarah Connor back then, I was like, I think we all women, we were like, I want to be like her.
Yes.
She was so strong, but still feminine. She was a mother. She was smart. She was everything. And, you know, it was a huge challenge for me to come here and do this. And she was so supportive all the time. She was loving, she's generous, she's so committed to her work. She's inspiration for me. I want to be just like you when I'm your age. Really, I want to be that strong. She did things that I couldn't do in this movie. She was stronger. She was so professional, loving. I mean, I cannot be more inspired. I'm sorry,
Now I'm crying. I think that is an important note to leave it on because holy shit, you guys. You can see more of Terminator Dark Fate when it's in theaters on November 1st. Now, before we get out of here, I wanted to ask Arnold down there, you guys are going to be somewhere specific this afternoon, come about 3 o'clock. Do you want to tell everybody where that is, or shall I?
You go ahead and tell them.
Thank you so much. I forgive you for yelling at me earlier. It's great. Later on today at 3 o'clock, there's going to be an AMA on Reddit. Everybody's going to be there, so make sure that you send your questions. It's going to be amazing. And in the meantime, put your hands together for this unbelievable cast and director, Terminator. Violates our restraining order, right?
I know that. Let's hear it for Gray, who did a fine job. Thank you, Gray. But I'm here with the critical announcement that will change your lives, ladies and gentlemen. That was 3 woos, and it was pathetic. That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to bring a very special person out here to talk to you about a film that has long been anticipated and now will soon be here. A film that has great meaning for San Diego. A film we've been waiting for a long, long time. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to say hello to the biggest movie star you're going to meet in a long, long time, Mr. Tom Cruise!
Top Gun, they're doing Top Gun. They're doing the Top Gun. Oh, they're doing doing Top Gun 2 right now. Oh shit.
Thank you. I'm feeling that love and feeling. Definitely feel that love and feeling out there. What a great movie audience you all are. 34 years ago, I made a movie in San Diego, right here. I actually shot across the street, a restaurant. And you all have asked for many, many years. And traveling around the world, people have said, why do you do another one? When are you going to do another one? In 34 years, you guys have been very, very patient with me. And I felt that it was my responsibility to finally really deliver for you. And I have a little piece here if you want to see it.
Yeah!
This is our very first trailer. You are the first people in the world to see it. And everything you see in this film, obviously, it's for real. So the flying, you know, we're working with the Navy. All of the flying that you see in this picture, everything is real. And I really wanted to give you all an experience of what it is to be inside that aircraft. And for me, Top Gun is about competition. It is about family, it is about sacrifice, it is about heroism, you know, and it's about aviation. And I love aviation. It's a love letter to aviation. So would you all like to see it? Thank you. You all are the first to see it. Yeah, you all are a great audience. You are a great audience. Good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen,